Hi, welcome to Dental Canvas. I am Dr. Gopal Kasat, and in this episode, we will be discussing the anatomy of the mandibular second premolar. Before going ahead, if you are new to this series, check the description or refer to the video on the top right corner to learn basic terminologies required for a better understanding of this video. Also, go through the anatomy of the mandibular first premolar as a direct comparison is made between both. The mandibular second premolar is bulkier than the mandibular first premolar and is opposite of what is observed in the maxillary premolars. This tooth assumes two common forms and differs mainly in the occlusal design. The outline and general appearance from all other aspects are similar. When compared from the occlusal aspect, the first form, which occurs most often, is the three-cusp type and has an angular outline. The second form is the two-cusp type and has a more rounded outline. Now let us move on to the buccal aspect of the mandibular right second premolar. From the buccal aspect, the mandibular second premolar presents a shorter buccal cusp than the first premolar, and the cervico-occlusal length of the crown is 8 mm. Mesiobuccal and distobuccal cusp ridges show less angulation, and this results in a more rounded cusp tip compared to the mandibular first premolar. The contact areas, both mesial and distal, are broad and appear to be more occlusal because of the short buccal cusp when compared to the mandibular first premolar. Mesiodistal width of the crown at the widest region is 7 mm, and the mesiodistal width of the crown at the cervix is 5 mm. Now let us move on to the root form. The single root of the second premolar is broader mesiodistally and longer than that of the first premolar. Length of the root is 14.5 mm and ends in a more blunt apex. In other respects, the two teeth are quite similar from this aspect. Now let us move on to the lingual aspect. Compared to the mandibular first premolar, the lingual lobes are more highly developed, which makes the lingual cusp or cusps, depending on the type, longer, and as a result, less of the occlusal surface is seen from this aspect. Both the lingual cusp and buccal cusp can be seen from this aspect. In the three-cusp type, mesiolingual and distolingual cusps are present, with the mesiolingual cusp being the larger and the longer one in most cases. A groove is present between them, extending a very short distance on the lingual surface and is usually centered over the root. In the two-cusp type, the single lingual cusp development attains equal height with the three-cusp type. This type has no groove, but it shows a developmental depression distolingually where the lingual cusp ridge joins the distal marginal ridge. Now let us move on to the root from this aspect. The root is wide lingually and there is less labiolingual taper when compared to the lingual aspect of the mandibular first premolar. Moving on to the mesial aspect. From this aspect, the crown and tooth both are wider buccolingually compared to the mandibular first premolar. The buccolingual width of the crown at its widest region is 8 mm and the buccolingual width of the crown at the cervix is 7 mm. The lingual lobe is more developed compared to the mandibular first premolar and the marginal ridge is at right angles to the long axis of the tooth. No mesiolingual developmental groove is present on the crown portion as seen on the mandibular first premolar, and curvature of the cervical line representing the cemento-enamel junction is 1 mm. The root is long and in most cases slightly convex on the mesial surface and the apex of the root is blunter. The buccal cusp is not as nearly centered over the root trunk and is shorter when compared to the mandibular first premolar. Similarly, the distal aspect of the mandibular second premolar bears a close resemblance to the mesial aspect, except that more of the occlusal surface may be seen, and that is because the crown of the posterior teeth are tipped distally to the long axis of the root. This tilting of crown results in the placement of the distal marginal ridge at a lower level compared to the mesial marginal ridge. Now let us move on to the last aspect, that is the occlusal aspect. The two types, that is 3 and 2 cusp types, are similar in the portion that is buccal to the mesiobuccal and distobuccal cusp ridges. The 3 cusp type appears square lingual to the buccal cusp ridges, and in this the buccal cusp is the largest and the mesiolingual cusp is next, and the distolingual cusp is the smallest. Each cusp has well-formed triangular ridges separated by a deep developmental groove. These grooves converge in a central pit and form a Y shape on the occlusal surface. The central pit is located midway between the buccal cusp ridge and the lingual margin of the occlusal surface, and slightly distal to the central point between the mesial and distal marginal ridges. Starting at the central pit, the mesial developmental groove travels in a mesiobuccal direction and ends in the mesial triangular fossa, just distal to the mesial marginal ridge. Similarly, the distal developmental groove travels in a distobuccal direction and is somewhat shorter than the mesial groove, and ends in the distal triangular fossa mesial to the distal marginal ridge. The lingual developmental groove extends lingually between the two lingual cusps and ends on the lingual surface of the crown just below the convergence of the lingual cusp ridges. The mesiolingual cusp is wider mesiodistally than the distolingual cusp. This arrangement places the lingual developmental groove distal to the center of the crown. Supplemental grooves and depression are often seen radiating from the developmental grooves. Now, the round or two cusp type differs considerably from the three cusp type when viewed from the occlusal aspect. There is one well-developed lingual cusp and that is directly opposite to the buccal cusp. The outline of the crown is rounded, lingual to the buccal cusp ridges. The mesiolingual and distolingual line angles are rounded. A central developmental groove on the occlusal surface travels in a mesiodistal direction, but it is most often crescent-shaped. The central groove has a terminal centered in the mesial and distal fossa, which are roughly circular depressions having supplementary groove and depression radiating from the central groove and its terminals. Some of these teeth show mesial and distal developmental pits centered in the mesial and distal fossa. The enamel surface inside this fossa and around their peripheries is very irregular, acting as a contrast to the smoothness everywhere as seen from this aspect. Most of these two cusp specimens show a developmental depression crossing the distolingual cusp ridge. This completes all the 5 surfaces of the maxillary first premolar. To summarize it all, you can see an image on the screen with all the average dimensions and key features. To download the same and see our resources, check the description. If you have learned something, hit the like button and feel free to subscribe. Looking forward to your comments. Thanks for watching. I am Dr. Gopal and you have been watching Dental Canvas. See you in the next one.